Hey guys! How is everybody today? I see several people already here, so I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to sort of jump in and join us. So if you're here, pop your name in the comment box so that I can see that. And yeah, so make sure you hit play. Let me go say that. Oh. Okay, I know there's several of you here, so I'll just wait for people to pop in. One viewer, hi, whoever's here. Make sure that you guys, I want to make sure you guys can see me and hear me okay. My assistant, Brittany, is going to be in the comment section, sort of navigating all of that today. So if you see a Brittany commenting on your stuff, that's who it is. So yeah, guys, let's see. I need to make sure that you guys can hear me and see me. Okay, I think there's some people popping in now. You guys need to make sure you hit play. Let's see. Okay, and I've got my assistant sort of making sure everything's looking good. So you guys are popping in and out. I can't tell if you're here or not. Okay. So somebody say something in the comment box if you are here. Let's see. Okay, there are people popping in and out, and I know it says there's 9 people in here, but my video only says there's 2. Okay, now there's 3. Hi, whoever's in here. Make sure you guys pop your name in the comment box so I can see who all's here. I know Makeda is in here and some others. Okay, let me just make sure everything's working okay. I hate technology. And am I not supposed to be like a techie person? Yeah, well, I hate when, okay, good. Okay, so I think everybody can see me. You guys just need to make sure you hit play. If there's anybody else out there, we're just gonna go ahead and get started. All right, so my assistant Brittany is in the comment box. So if you guys need to comment or, yay, hi Aaron. So if you guys need to comment or anything, hi Lisa, definitely do that. We're gonna save all questions until last, and Brittany will sort of be corralling those for me. So if you think of a question, go ahead and pop it in the comment box, and Brittany, my assistant, will sort of take that from me. Lauren from Underbid Baby and us+4. I can only be here for a few minutes. Oh, yay. Hi, Lauren. And just so you know, since I'm using Google Hangouts, the comments are a little delayed, but that's okay. So if I hit your comment later or if Brittany doesn't get to it for a few minutes, that's why. Comments are a little delayed. But let's go ahead and get started. If you guys don't know me, my name is Jessica Stansberry, obviously. I know some of you came from other people promoting the webinar and things like that. So I am a web designer and have recently taken my business from strictly custom design to teaching people how to design their websites and the other techie pieces that go along with running an online business. I have a Facebook group that I would love for you all to come into. It's called the DIT, which stands for Do It Together Business Owner, or business, yeah, Biz Owners. So DIT Biz Owners. Hi, Patty. So Patty, weirdly enough, is a local here, and I have no clue, had no clue. There were some other local people that really, ran online things. So, yeah, and I see Holly's here today too. Holly's local as well. So there are other people in my little small town running businesses. All right, so basically now I'm teaching people how to do things and sort of just running through, dumping all of the knowledge and the techie stuff that I have acquired in the last 6 years as an online business owner and web designer and giving it to you guys. So go join my Facebook group, DIT Biz Owners. We also have a Facebook group for our podcast called All Up in Your Lady Business, which is also the name of the podcast. So if you guys are looking for some new listening material. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get started. I cannot see the comments while I'm playing. Hi, while I'm playing. Hi, Holly. So I can't see the comments while I'm playing my presentation. So if you guys need anything, pop it in there. Brittany will take care of it, and I will answer all questions at the end. And please stick around until the end because I have something super special to share with you guys. So, okay, let's get started. Let me get this started. You don't want to hear me sing, do you? Because I sing a lot when I'm like trying to get something done. All right. And I really don't. I'm not a good singer. So y'all are going to see my whole screen for just a second until I get this pulled up here. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to make sure, Brittany, can you text me and let me know you can see my screen? And that way I know everybody's still getting all of the material I'm putting up. Okay, give it just a second. Let Brittany text me really quickly. While we're doing this, I just rebranded my business from Southtown Creative to my own name, and I'm working on my LLC right now. And so if you guys have seen me out and about in the world, that's where I've come from. And yeah, I'm sort of just making the transition to my own brand. It was one of those natural things that happened when we started the podcast. Everyone refers to me as me and not my business name, so I just thought I'd change it. All right, so Brittany says you guys can see it. So let's get started. This is going to be how to DIY your website with WordPress. All right, so again, stick around until the end for a really juicy offer. And some important things I want to share with you guys. All right, so let's talk for just a few minutes about how you want to host and build your website. So first of all, there are so many options out there. We all know what they are. Weebly, Wix, Shopify, Squarespace, GoDaddy has a drag and drop builder. Things like that. There are tons and tons and tons of options. So of these options, WordPress is by far the best option you can use to build your website. And I'm going to tell you why. There's so many reasons, but there's one that's like crazy. You have to listen to this reason. And I think it's one that a lot of people don't know of. So all of the things I'm going to mention that WordPress is better because of also applies to Squarespace. Squarespace is the new and shiny object out there, but these things are also relevant to Squarespace, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. Okay, so why is it better? All right, so full control. First of all, with WordPress, let me turn the sound off on my phone. I just got a Periscope alert. Who is scoping during my webinar? All right, so with WordPress, you have full control over how your site works completely. There's nothing that you can't do on a WordPress site. Nothing, I promise that. Maybe you can't do it, but somebody can get it done. Whereas with Squarespace or any of the builders, you have to use their options. So things that I want to throw out there are like e-commerce stores where, they have like multiple options. Like maybe it's, because I'm working on this with a client, maybe it's a vinyl wall cling or lettering thing, and it comes in 32 different colors, and 6 of those colors change the price because they're metallic, and it comes in 3 different sizes. With WordPress, you can absolutely do that. You can have all kinds of variations, and when they select the right ones, then it populates the price. With Squarespace and all of these builders, that's not an option. The same goes with like testimonials, having a membership site, really just anything you could want to do with WordPress, it's possible. And with the others, it's really just not. So again, just what I said. All right. So, all right, guys, if you listen to nothing else I say today, nothing else, I want you to listen to this. With WordPress, you own your content. With the other options, you do not. That applies to Squarespace as well. I want to emphasize this so much. Like Squarespace, Weebly, Wix, all of those options, you do not own your content. Let me give you a little scenario. So you build your site on Squarespace, say, and you're 2 years in and you have all of these blog posts out there that are crazy for your SEO, and you have, you know, tons of people finding you per day on these blog posts. You have tons of Pinterest pins, etc., which isn't that always our goal. Our goal is always to have our content out there doing marketing for us. So say you have that done, and you go 2 years into it and you've published a post a week for 2 years. And that's how you make your sales. That's how you get your clients or your customers. And say Squarespace has a glitch. No known reason, and it happens a lot. Just a couple weeks ago, all Squarespace sites went down for like 12 hours or something. So it happens. So say your Squarespace site just goes down. And when it pops back up, all of your blog posts are gone. You go to Squarespace and you say, hello, you know, I have 2 years worth of blog posts here. Where are they? And they say, oh, sorry, they got lost in the glitch. Guess what? There's nothing you can do about it. You sign the terms and conditions when you sign on with Squarespace that basically gives them the permission to delete or lose your content and not have to give it back to you. That alone should scare the bejesus out of you and make you want to use self-hosted WordPress. So yeah, that's a huge one. There are so many other things that could happen. Somebody could report your site that you're copying their content. Squarespace could take it seriously and could shut down your site. And there's no way for you to back it up. They say that they back it up. So Squarespace will say, oh, we back up your content, which is fine. So if you did something to your Squarespace site and it went down because of your fault, Squarespace may or may not be able to help you out with your content, getting it back up. But if they did something, or if a glitch happened on their end, they lose your content with your site. So yeah, and I get the argument a lot that WordPress, you have to have a hosting account with WordPress. And people say, well, what if my host goes down? And that's absolutely a possibility. Hosts go down every day, different reasons, different things happen. But what you can do is that you can back up your website daily, weekly, monthly, however often you need to. And if your site goes down or your host goes down, you can have your website back up in 30 minutes. So that should really, if you listen to nothing else, the fact that you don't own the content on the sites that are out there that are not requiring a hosting account, that should like seal the deal. All right, so better design. All right, so I'm a designer, obviously. So I can tell easily when I pop on a website whether the person has built it using a drag and drop or not. Because even WordPress themes, because you can buy pre-made themes for a WordPress site, but even them, they don't allow you to just use any font you want to in the body of your text, or use any font you want to in the headers of your text. They leave it in the code. So unless you change code, there's not really a way around that. Y'all, there is a man walking down my road carrying a goat. No joke. Okay. And I think it's my goat, but I don't care. Okay, anyway, this is what you get when you get a webinar with me. You get goats walking down the road. All right, so anyway, with a drag and drop, because you guys are not designers, or most likely not designers, sometimes we think things look good that don't. And with WordPress on the pre-made themes, they're sort of set up to look good for you. Whereas a drag and drop builder, you can do whatever you want to, and it could look a little rough. So you can definitely design better with WordPress. All right, personalized site. So you can customize a WordPress site from the bottom up. Like, you can literally customize it from top to bottom. You don't have to use a template, and your site can look different than others. Even with templates or themes, your site can look different than other people's sites look. I can go on a Squarespace website and immediately tell it's built on Squarespace because they all essentially look the same. They're all essentially built the same. So with WordPress, you're sort of setting yourself apart because you can get something different than what other people are doing. And in branding, that's like super important. All right, so one more thing to talk about here is the cost. I'm always amazed, because I'm a cheapo, that people will pay like $8 to $20 a month for a site like Squarespace that they don't even own their content on and they don't even have control of. And WordPress is free. You have to have a hosting account with WordPress, which we will get into in a minute. But other than that, WordPress is free on your hosting account. And the hosting account is usually less than $6 a month. So I don't quite understand that one especially from a starting business point, because the cost involved ends up being a little more even with the builder sites. See, free, and it's customizable, and you own the content. All right, so before we get into this, I do want to hit on a few things that I didn't put in the slides that I know some of you here have questions about. One is, well, first, let me back up just a little bit. So I'm going to quote Lindsay Reel from Pretty Cute Designs. She sells pre-made WordPress themes, and she has a post on her blog that is called, I forget what it's called exactly, but it's something like Why WordPress Will Always Be Better Than Squarespace. And she said something that was just super relevant and made so much sense that I felt like I needed to quote it. And that is, you won't see CNN, People Magazine, the New York Times, or any Fortune 500 companies currently using WordPress switching to Squarespace anytime soon, because you don't own your Squarespace website. Remember when Facebook was ad-free and you had control over what you saw in your newsfeed? And then one day they decided to change that and you couldn't do anything about it because you didn't own your Facebook? It's very, very similar. So bonus point. Who wants to rent and have to ask permission to paint the walls when you could own and remodel your kitchen for free? You're never limited with WordPress. And if you decide you want to completely transform your site in one day, you have millions of WordPress themes in every price point, including free, to search through instead of a limited amount that Squarespace delivers. Okay. So now the next thing is WordPress. People get really confused with WordPress.com and WordPress.org. WordPress.com is basically just a free service, very similar to Blogger or Blogspot. It might as well be the same service. It is just, it's WordPress's free version of a blogging platform. In other words, that is not what you want to use. WordPress.org is where the software that you install on your hosting account is found, but you don't really even need to get it from there because most hosts provide a button to install it right inside your account. So really, if you're confused about those two, you need .org, but you really don't need either one of them. You just need to sign up for a hosting account and install WordPress on your hosting account that way. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how you build your website. Okay, first things first, you need a hosting account. Any host will do. I always recommend HostMonster because I've had really good luck with them. Bluehost is basically like their daddy. I think Bluehost owns HostMonster, so they're also a really good one. And they are both great. I've had really good luck with them over the years. There are so many out there. Just don't use GoDaddy or oneandone.com. As a web designer, I've had so much trouble out of them that I can honestly say do not use those people. Now, a lot of times we purchase domains through GoDaddy or oneandone.com because they're cheap, and that's okay. You can have your domain on them all day because we can forward your domain to a hosting account. So yeah, I mean, you don't use those. Trust me, I promise. All right, so then you need to get your domain. And most of the time, they come with a hosting account. So if you purchase like a year of hosting, a domain will sort of come with it for free for the first year. But if you're like me and you want to buy like 4,500 domains, then they can be purchased like super cheap. So I think most domains are under $10, under $12 per year. And little tip, if you will just take to Google and say cheap domains, you can get those super cheap, like under $1 usually, through GoDaddy or oneandone.com, which I just told you not to use for your host. But they always have cheap domains out there, and you can register your domain with them and then transfer it to your host later. So that's a little tip for you guys. But you do have to take to Google with it because they don't have that offer on their website. Okay, so once you have a hosting account and you have a domain, then all you have to do is log into your hosting account and install WordPress. I'm not joking when I tell you it is literally one click. In most places, you will have a cPanel, is what a hosting account calls their like hub. And in that cPanel, there will literally be a button that says install WordPress. And you select the domain you want to install it on, and you're done. Now, before I move any further, I wanted to help you understand this a little bit because some of you may not quite understand what you need, like why you need hosting, why you need all of these things. I always compare this to a car. So your domain, your .com, .net, .biz, .whatever, is like your car, but your car will not run without gas. Your car will not go anywhere without gas, and that gas is your hosting account. And then WordPress or your site design is like the automatic windows and the paint job on the car. So they make it run really well and look pretty. So that's a really good comparison for you guys to understand why you need each of the options. All right, so you've gotten a host and you have a domain and you've installed WordPress. Now you need to get a pre-made theme or template. In WordPress, they're called themes, and there are so many. Oh my goodness, there are thousands and thousands of themes you can choose from. Some of them are free. Those usually aren't the best ones. And then some of them are paid. Some of them are built with what's called framework. So they sort of work a little better because they have some things built in them that general WordPress does not. I always recommend the Genesis framework, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second, because they have some really good themes out there that go with their framework, and because it's the way I've always built websites because it's the most versatile. Okay, so you have your theme. It will literally just come in a zip file. So you will go into WordPress and you will hit install, and you will install your theme. Very, very easy. I mean, super easy. Then there are things called plugins. Your plugins will make your site function the way you want it to if it doesn't already, if that makes sense. So things that you can have plugins for. I put a couple here, or one here that I really recommend. For instance, Yoast SEO is a really great plugin that you can install on WordPress that will help you boost the SEO on your website by post, by page, by product if you're an e-commerce company. So, and that's not something you get with Squarespace, and that's also not something you get out of the box with WordPress. You have to install a plugin, but it's very easy to use, and it can really help your SEO get to new levels. There are other things. MailChimp has some plugins to be able to put subscription bars and different things like that. There are so many plugins out there. Some of the ones I use a contact form plugin. I use a few plugins that are specifically with my Genesis framework that like house my subscription bars or allow me to put my blog post on my front page, etc. All right, so you've got your theme installed, you've got your plugins installed, and then all you need to do is add the content and the graphics to make your site look like you want it to look. Now with WordPress, the themes normally will have a demo site when you buy them, and they will say, you know, this is what it looks like and all of that stuff. And when you buy it, if you just installed it and then looked at it, it's going to look nothing like that demo site. But 99% of themes you buy out there are going to give you instructions on how to install them and how they have it set up so that you can make your site look like the demo site. So yeah, you really just have to add graphics and content. It's super easy. All right, and then you're all done, and you can start blogging and you can start putting your website out into the world. Now, it really is that simple to build a website with WordPress, but it's not. Sometimes it's very intimidating because WordPress is technical. It can be a little techy because you can do so many things with it and because it is self-hosted, but that's okay. If you get in a bind, there are people who can help you. Of course I can, but there are other people who specifically help with WordPress problems and things like that. All right, so I do get though that like it's not always that easy. Like I said, when you install a theme that you buy, it's not at all going to look like the demo site did. They do come with instructions, but sometimes those aren't even super clear. And two, because you're not a designer, or at least most likely not one, then you may not know what looks good. So you may be putting your graphics into this theme, but they don't look very good, or you don't know how to size them for retina screens so that on a retina screen they appear clear and not blurry, or you don't know what to do different for mobile and things like that. So if you need a little help, that is why I created the DIT Do It Together Web Design Workshop. Now, this workshop is 5 weeks long, unless you choose to add on the e-commerce element, and then it's 6 weeks, and it will take you step by step through the process of building your website, like legitimately and step by step, like nothing left unturned. I'm going to take you literally, like take your hand and help you build this website. You'll have one-on-one access to me at all times during the workshop in a private Facebook group. So I'll be popping in and out of there several times a day answering questions. I will also be providing a live Q&A call to answer all questions about midway through the workshop. So that way I can help you guys all together and you can sort of pick my brain as well. And you have lifetime access to all of the course materials. So everything that I teach you, you will always be able to log in and get. Now, also in this, you will get to pick 1 out of 6 pre-made themes that are developed just for the workshop. So I'm developing these just for the people in the workshop. They will not be purchasable outside of the workshop. So if you go in this workshop that it will be unique because you're the only one with that theme. Well, you and whoever else is in the workshop. And then there's also an optional add-on for e-commerce. And that is an additional cost, but it also takes an additional week. So the workshop starts on April 11th and registration ends April 9th. So that's not super long from now. And I really want to get everybody in there that can get in there. So I left it open a little longer than normal. So April 11th is when it starts and registration ends on the 9th. Now, how much is it? So the standard workshop is $750, and if you purchase it with the e-commerce add-on, it's $900. But if you purchase your seat in the next 24 hours because you attended this webinar, you can get $100 off and a free one-on-one strategy session with me. So in addition to web design and techie tips, I also provide really, really in-depth strategy. I take whatever your problems are and tell you how to fix them and tell you how to get from A to Z in your business. So this is a quote or a review from Natalie Gingrich from More Mom Movement. And she said, after spending 1 hour with Jessica in a strategy session, I walked away with specific tactics to grow my business today. I was impressed at the work she had done ahead of time to know me, which made our conversation even more valuable. Because she was exactly what I needed, I booked another 2-hour call. And Natalie has went on to become a monthly strategy client of mine as well. So you get $100 off the workshop, which is huge anyway, and you get a free one-on-one 1-hour call with me. So super, super valuable, and we can kick butt in what you need to do in your business. To do this, you need to go to jessicastansberry.com/special offer. And that link will expire in 24 hours. And this is not one of those links that I say will expire in 24 hours, and it doesn't. It really, really expires in 24 hours. That's the perks of being a web designer. I can set things like that up. So it expires in 24 hours. The deal is gone, and I will not offer it again. So jessicastansberry.com/special offer. Okay, so let me hop back in here. Hi, I'm back. So I wonder if there were any questions. I know, hi everybody, I'm gonna scroll through the comments for a second now that I'm back. Just joining, you were a little late. Oh, that's okay, whoever you guys are that were late. Does anybody have any specific questions? I wanna do a nice little Q&A here at the end to help you guys with whatever issues you might have with building your own website, or any questions you have with what I just went through. And if you want, I can absolutely walk through how you install that on an actual website. I have some test sites set up, so if you guys wanted to do that, I can show you how. So just let me know in the comments. And I know they're delayed, so I'll just keep talking till they're done and tell you all about my goat. I don't know what was going on. There was a goat and a man walking down the road. It was my goat. Don't know why the man was carrying my goat, but sure, I don't really care. So I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to pop in with questions, and I'm going to go ahead and pop that special offer link in the comments so that you guys can click on that from there. And yeah, that was an easy webinar, right? I tried to be super quick and super thorough, so there was no fluff involved, because I don't like going to webinars where there's a ton of fluff. So if you guys weren't around in the beginning, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about me. So if you don't know me, my name's Jessica, and you just listened to my webinar, and I'm a web designer, but now I'm turning my business more towards teaching people how to design and teaching people the sort of techie, scary parts of running a business and, you know, building a website, you're very welcome, Megan. So yeah, like that's sort of what I'm doing now. I have a YouTube channel that I just started that will share weekly tech tips every week. And I'll type that in. I think I remember what it is. Techie biz tips. I don't know. That may not be right. So, okay, so just search for Jessica Stansberry on YouTube. But I also have a Facebook group called DIT, which is Do It Together, Biz Owners. And I really focus on the techie parts of running our online business over there. So there's not a lot of, you know, of the other things you get in the Facebook groups. There's no promotion or anything like that. But I really focus on, you know, helping people and letting you guys help each other with the techie pieces of running these online world businesses, because they're insane. Sometimes it's crazy how much there is to do from, you know, just being an online business. So if nobody has any other questions, I will let y'all go. So when signing up for a hosting account, are the add-ons worth the cost, like the site? Okay. That's such a good question, Teresa. All right, so she asked, when signing up for a host account, are the add-ons worth the cost, like the site backup and site lock? All right, so if you're going to do WordPress, the site backup, no, for sure not, because we can install plugins, and you can install plugins that will back up your site automatically through WordPress, and so you don't really need to pay that extra because those plugins are free. And then the site lock, sort of the same thing. I would say no. The only thing you might consider paying on one of those add-ons is if you referred to SEO when talking about plug. Okay, I will hit that in a second, Patty. So with the add-ons, you can purchase site protection, or like anonymous site protection, however they say it in your host. And what that means is if somebody says, oh, I want this domain, and they can't, thank you very much, Brittany, for putting in my YouTube link, because I couldn't remember it. So you can purchase, like, to make you anonymous. So if people look up your domain or look up who owns it, then they only get like the hosting or the domain registrar. So where that could come in handy is, so somebody says, oh, I love this domain, I wonder who has it, I'm going to go harass them and make them sell it to me. So if you don't purchase that, I forget what it's called right off the top of my head, but it makes you anonymous on that end of things, then they can see exactly who owns it. They can see your phone number, they can see your email, etc., etc. So they could easily sort of get in touch with you to try and buy that. Whereas if you purchase that from your host, they take responsibility for that, and you know, they can only see that the host owns it. So that would be one of the main things I would say to buy, but most of the other add-ons through your host are not necessary. So SEO. So Patty, that stands for search engine optimization, and that basically means how high up you show up in a Google search for the things that you do. So for me, you know, how high up I show up in a Google search for web designers, or for branding designers, or for DIYing your website. Those are SEO things, because that's what that stands for. SEO is also very organic. You can't force SEO. It is something that happens with time, but with WordPress and some plugins, you can help it sort of along the way. So I think there was another question. No, maybe not. You guys can see me moving my stuff in the window back here. I need some curtains. All right. So are there any other questions? You guys have been amazing. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I always have this fear that nobody will show up to a webinar. Like, always. No matter how many I've done or how many I do, no matter how many people sign up, I'm always like, crap, nobody's going to show up. I think it's one of those like standing in public naked fears, you know, like people are just scared. So yeah, I'm going to give it just a few minutes, let you guys pop in any more questions, since I know there is a delay, just in case I said anything just a second ago that you might have a question on. But otherwise, jessicastansberry.com/special offer. Join my Facebook group. Would love to have you. I'm just starting it. It's called DIT Biz Owners. And like I said, it's really just a hub for figuring out the parts that make an online business work, because it is sort of, it is crazy, y'all. Like, sometimes I think, like, how do people who are not techie or who are just entering this world get it all? Like, it's got to be information overload. So, but that's okay. We can figure it out. That's what I'm here for. So I'll let y'all go. I don't guess anybody else has any questions. If you do, shoot me an email. Oh, wait, I think something just popped through. Oh, thanks so much. You're welcome so much, Jack. All right, Savannah from Second City Stationery. What plugin would you recommend for product reviews? Oh, great. Thank you, Catherine. All right, so what plugin would you recommend for product reviews on an e-commerce shop? So if you're using WooCommerce, it comes built in with a product review in it. So that would be what I would recommend. It comes built in. Anytime that there's a product, there will be a review tab on the bottom. And you actually have to insert code to remove that. So it is there. Are you using WordPress? Because if not, I may be able to answer that just a little better. There is one called WP Reviews, I think, that would maybe work if you're not using WordPress. How do you get your email for your domain? Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so Tranquility Paper asked, how do you get your email for your domain set up? For example, me at domainname.com. So easy. It's actually very easy. When you get a hosting account, there will literally be an email button, and you click it, and then you can set up what you want at whatyouwant.com. So, it's literally that easy. I use Gmail. So I will I will have Gmail check my email accounts. So where my email is howdy@jessicastansberry.com, or where we have our podcast email that's hello@allupinyourladybusiness.com, I will have Gmail check those so that I don't have to have a different server for them. And I can respond from everything inside of Gmail and have all of that work. So there's literally just a button in there in your host to set that up. There are also options through Google. There's one called, I think it's Google Apps for Biz. So basically with that, you would tell them what your domain name is, and they would let you set that up as an email address. And you sort of go through Google to do it. There is a cost involved in that. The benefit to that is that, say your host goes down or something of that nature, and you can't get emails for a long period of time. When it's set up through Google Apps, that's not the case. And you can actually have email addresses at domains that aren't even hooked to a hosting account. So if you have a domain that you don't have a website for yet, you can go ahead and start an email address for it, and then you just set it up through Google Apps. But I always set mine up through my host. In 6 years, I've never had a problem. So that's completely up to you. So I think that was it. I have 2 different windows open for comments. There's one here and then one over here. All right. So you guys have fun. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really, really appreciate it. If you're wanting something else to listen to in 15 minutes, one of my business best friends, Megan Maydell, and her podcast co-host, Steph Schertz of Bushel, are putting on, I think it's called booze and something. So they're drinking. That's all I know. A webinar where they are telling you how to get visible online. So that is coming up in about 15 minutes. And I think you can still sign up at withmoxieandgrace.com. And that's with Moxie, Moxie, and grace.com. That's Megan's website. Or our podcast episode from today is all about finding your tribe online and how to use that tribe to help your business grow. So if you guys are looking for something else, there you go. And if you want to take advantage of the special offer, jessicasansbury.com/special offer, and it does expire in 24 hours. If you're watching the replay, it does expire in 24 hours after you watch the replay. It will track your cookies, basically. So have fun, guys. Happy Wednesday. Bye.